Good morning or good afternoon to you all. My name is Michel'le Feaster. I teach 4th grade math at North DeSoto Upper Elementary in DeSoto Parish. As an educator, I am most passionate about building my students' confidence in their mathematical ability. When they are confident, they are more willing to take risk in their learning, even if that means they get the problem wrong. I find that when most struggle to critically think and problem solve, it's due to them having no confident entry point in their learning. So I try to ensure that I give them opportunities to create memorable learning experiences where they are provided actionable feedback and time to reflect. My light bulb moment is when I realized a confident student is empowered to be actively engaged, resilient, and unlock their full potential for learning and growth when they are confident. In today's lesson, you will observe students continuing their exploration of subtracting fractions. We started this concept yesterday with no context on the number line, so they are still grappling with the skill, but using familiar terms such as factors, multiples, and equivalents to progress towards mastery. I teach using the Illustrative Mathematics 360 curriculum, and in Lesson 10, my mathematicians are now discovering how to subtract a whole and a mixed number from a fraction. They will unveil that to do so, they must decompose the whole number or mixed number into an equivalent fraction with the same denominator, which then allows them to subtract to find the difference. A lot of emphasis will be placed on difference and equivalence because the expectation is for students to recognize they cannot subtract a whole number from a fraction without decomposing. Today, you will see them working in groups, having open discussions with me, small and some prescribed groups based on ability. I'll also be using the document camera to show student work and Quisha, our cue ball, for continuous student engagement. Ultimately, my goal is for every student to be able to subtract fractions within context, not just in isolation, and reason about their difference. I pride myself in ensuring that every one of my students, when the opportunity presents itself, is required to reason because it develops a deep understanding of concepts beyond memorization. Reasoning also gives students the opportunity to articulate what they know and become more confident in their ability to engage in math. As we continue to progress through this unit, I'm hoping my mathematicians have added more tools, which are the strategies, to their toolbox to have the autonomy to choose a strategy depending on the subtraction problem that works for them. Some anticipated barriers within this lesson are students still knowing how to decompose due to the fact we're struggling with fact fluency. So them utilizing a key is going to be an integral part of this development. Our motto is your annotations are your explanations. When you show your work, you can easily turn that work into words by going back and verbally expressing what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. Today, what did our objectives say we're doing? What are we doing? We're subtracting fractions. And what are we going to have to do today according to our standard in order to subtract fractions? We're going to have to decompose. We know that decomposing means to hashtag what? Break apart. So today, not only will we just be focused on subtracting, but you're going to have to decompose because what did Tegan just say it's going to give us? Some mixed numbers. And you're going to be doing this concept in your new standard for NF3D in some word problems. This is what it's going to look like to reach mastery today. You're going to be expected to find the difference. What does difference mean again? What is it? Bingo. So anytime I see that word difference, what am I going to do? Hashtag subtract. I know in order to find the difference between these two digits, I have to hashtag subtract an equation. So I'm looking for you to find the difference. If you look at mastery just says find the correct value, which means the difference for number 1 and number 2. But what separates me from getting mastery in advance today? What separates me? Cole, bingo. So we know for a fact we're going to be looking for the term difference. We've already tagged that. Now we need to discover what other terms are we looking for today. Ooh, when I read that, I heard the term how much are left. They're asking me how much is left. What can you visualize yourself doing there, Allie? Bingo. So where I see that term left, I'm going to put hashtag subtract. And if they're telling me that I'm going to have to subtract, what's going to be that key term that I have to use? I'm trying to find the difference. So here we go. If you pour each of these amounts from the full pitcher, okay, how much is in the full pitcher? 3 cups, right? So we know the full pitcher is made of 3 cups. Well, they're asking me to find the difference between the full pitcher and if I were to pour out 1/4. Why can we not subtract that? Okay, he said 1 is at its lowest form. Well, what do you have? I've got a whole number and a fraction. Do you know how much this is worth? That 3 is worth? No. So I can't take 1/4 from a whole. There's nothing there, right? What did your objective say you were going to have to do today?
We have to decompose it.
We have to decompose it. Okay, so, and what's going to tell me how much a whole is worth here? Allie? The denominator. The denominator of that what?
1/4.
Of that 1/4 of a cup. Okay, so if my denominator here is 4, how much is 1 whole? 4 out. Each cup is still worth how much?
1/4.
Not 1/4. Each cup is worth 4/4. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my denominator because I know each cup is still only going to be worth 4 cups. With 7. Now let me extend your thinking here. Is that the only way to represent 7/4?
No.
Bryce, what else is 7/4 equal to? 1 and 3/4. I want you now to take that same learning from A and B, and I just want you to write the equation for D. I want you to write, what would that equation start with? What would it look like? So I want you to look at Madeline's D. Do you agree with her equations? She's got 3 minus 2 and 2/4. Would you say that the start of her equation is correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But is this the only thing I've got to decompose?
No.
What else do I have to decompose? 2 and 2/4. What can help me decompose 2 and 2/4? Shazeb?
So we already made a key, so we know that 2 whole is equal to 8/4, 10/4. So we're doing 10/4 minus 12/4. So 12/4 minus 10/4.
So Shazeb said 3 minus 2 and 2/4 becomes 12/4 minus 10/4. Do we all agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
And so 12/4 minus 10/4 leaves us with what?
2/4.
What is this called? Value called in this situation? It is the difference. Well, if we're looking at D, how many cups were left? 2/4. So here we go. Remember, your standard said that you're going to be finding equivalent values. What was our 3 equivalent to?
12/4.
12/4. Because what did your standard say you should be able to do? Subtract and use a equivalent fraction. And did we or did not do that? We did. That is the expectation for our writing today. Every time you write, we're looking for you first to tell them what. What is the answer? And the why. Well, because 3 is equivalent to 12/4. And 3 minus 2/4, which is 12/4 minus 10/4, gives me a difference of 2/4. What term did you just hear me say? Different. Yes. So what should I edit this to say? Bingo. 12/4 minus 10/4 equals the, what's that term again? Difference. So now, have we reached our highest level of mastery? Yes. I'm going to give you 12 minutes to work through B and C with your table group. Ooh, look at y'all go. So what's the first half of our equation?
4 minus 2.
Yes. How did y'all get that 4?
From the 4 cups.
Good job. And where did you get the 2 and 2/3 from?
From the amount number.
Bingo.
I mean the mixed number.
Can we solve that like that?
No, we have to make a key.
Oh, we got to decompose it, which means we've got to make a
Key.
Okay.
The 2 would be 6/3 because that's 2 wholes, and 2 wholes is 6/3.
And then
So 6/3 plus 2/3 equals 8/3.
Then you add the leftover.
So 12/3 minus 8/3 equals 4/3. Look at the denominator.
Let's just make a
still
key.
3.
Let's just make a key just in case. I don't want to mess up.
Nope. Tell us about B. I'm sorry. Tell us. Go.
So me and Logan did that. So we made a key that told us that 4 holes equals 12 thirds, which is like 4 holes. So we know that 5 thirds is an improper fraction. So we said 1 and 2 thirds is equal to 5 thirds, and then we made made a reasoning, which we said there were 7 thirds cups of water left because 4 is equivalent to 12 thirds, and 4 minus 5 thirds, which is 12 thirds minus 1 and 2 thirds equals the difference of 7 thirds.
Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Give me a thumbs down if you disagree. I agree as well. And you and your partner's goal is to put these set of cards into 2 categories. Now, I'm not going to tell you what categories. That's between you and your partner to decide based on the work that we just did in activity 1. There's just fractions. So could these be some categories? It could be. But what do we call this when it looks like that?
Oh no, we already had our reasoning.
When there is?
DNA, because 1 whole is 12 twelfths, and 12 minus 5 is 7 twelfths, and 12.
Oh, so what letters did y'all say go together?
E, D, and H, and I, C, A, F, G, J, and B.
Did y'all hear what she said? She said they noticed that they could just put the differences together, and then all of those show what, Mackenzie? Say it again.
The expression.
Just the expressions.
One has whole numbers, and the other one is a fraction.
Just tell us about it.
C, F, J, B, I, M, E, H, G, A, and D because they have different values.
And so how many different categories did we come up with in just that one rotation? Today you were expected to learn how to subtract a whole number from a fraction. We went as far as subtracting a whole number from a mixed number. Yes. The 15th. In looking back at this lesson, and after reviewing my students' cool downs, I can say for certain, our objective was met. 92% of my students were mastery and or advanced. Today was vital as it builds their success for tomorrow, because in lesson 11, they will combine adding and subtracting fractions where they must infer if they must decompose or not with whole and or mixed numbers. If I were to have done anything differently during this lesson, after the card sort, I would have had one person rotate to other groups to share their categories, which would have provided multiple perspectives of strategies. This is generally a hard concept for most students since it requires them to know their multiplication facts efficiently and subtract unfriendly numbers, aka fractions. However, we practice persistence, which helps them learn how to be more resilient throughout this unit. Thank you for watching and your consideration.